Man, what up, world?
What's the word, everybody? How y'all doing?
Man, we got back to it. Welcome to another episode of Building with Mars and Big Esco.
I'm
Um,
Mars. That's Big Esco right there.
yeah, man, we got a lot of shit going on, man. We
Yeah,
got
I know.
a
It's
lot of
been it's been a minute. How are you? How are you people and all of that? That for context, like
yeah,
Ryan, we're both natives of St. Louis, born and raised. Ryan lives in St. Louis. I live in Chicago at the moment. We both have lived in Chicago at a point, but Ryan is back home. And well, one, grateful, happy and everything that you alive here to this day. Our people seem to be doing good, but like how are things on the ground level back at home?
man. It's been 2 weeks, almost
Yeah.
2 weeks to the time of when the tornado hit. Like I was in a meeting, and normal storm. It's May. You're not thinking much of it. Like you said, we live in Tornado Alley, so we used to tornado warnings, tornado watching, tornado drills, tornado sirens. Um, it just was a super. People were anticipating a storm, but this storm obviously came really fast. I turned on the news. They said it was coming straight for downtown, but it had already touched down in Clayton, which was kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and once they announced that it touched down in Clayton, I feel like it just happened really fast. Next thing I know, they were saying it's like on Page, it's on Kings Highway. You know what I'm saying? It's in the city, it's
Wow.
cutting through. It's like on Lindell. Like those was like the streets that he was naming.
Yeah, yeah,
And that was
yeah.
kind of like registering a little bit different. I'm imagining where it is.
Right.
And yeah, I have never been a part of a natural disaster before, but Jesus Christ. Like it is heart wrenching. Not even just seeing the tornado picked up its speed, and we could debate this. People call it the north side. I've been having a little debates on this recently.
What are you
Um,
talking about?
anything north of Del Mar they consider the north side, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But the Ville is not really the north side.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like if you like,
yeah.
so where it hit Fountain Park, Kings Highway, right
Mhm.
there in that area. I mean, 2 blocks over is Central West End. Like
Right, right,
literally
right,
to back
right, right,
serious. You
right,
could
right.
look at the Central West End from there.
Right.
Versus I grew up in North Point off the
Mhm.
circle. That is the furthest north that the city is. That's a long
Right.
way from Delmar.
Right, right, right,
And
right, right.
so people say north of Natural Bridge, even though I would consider Margaretta, all that
Mhm.
stuff the north side. But
Mhm.
there is, just so you have more like context, like, so imagine you at Clayton and Skinker,
Right,
right?
right, right.
I mean, you go all the way down Skinker to Lindell, you can see the trees ripped up, the golf course, everything's ripped up.
Wow.
You make a right down Lindell right there, all the trees, the houses, the mansions on the side, glass blown out of them, all those trees along that whole corridor, bro. The
Jeez.
trees are out of the ground. Then
Wow.
it jumped over to like the Bolivar, Clara,
Yeah.
Delmar, that area, same thing, glass, everything. It cut down Union. So, from Lindell to Delmar on Union,
Right.
that little stretch, all
Mhm.
those big houses, mansions. The first houses, some of them ripped
Those are
apart.
those that's like when you young
Yeah.
growing up, your people
Imma tell
ride
you how
down
close it
that.
is to us, though.
Yeah.
Imma tell you how close it is. I text, Kyla to check on Marjani. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, "Yo, that it ripped right through Marjani in the neighborhood." She was like, "It hit Marjani people crib, so I don't think they could be in that crib." Sydney Stacker, who lived next door to them, I hit her up.
Yeah.
Nobody had power. She was like, her mom was cool or whatever, but no, bro, this tornado ripped through there. It's some
Whoa.
houses, like, you can, on my Educate Self Cultivate Others page, I just uploaded a video just for historical purposes. Watch the video. Me and Tanel ride through. It's like 20 minutes. You can speed it up.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna blow your mind, Mars. I don't think people
Whoa.
from St. Louis realize St. Louis, how we knew it, is different. Like, this section of the city is different. But let me finish. It cut through Delmar, so it's going through or whatever. So then it jumps down Kings Highway to Fountain Park. All that houses kind of destroyed. Kind of kept going northeast, kind of more towards the Ville. 'cause
Okay.
that's where it kinda cut in, and so that's
Got
why
you.
Tenell got affected because he stayed by Rankin, so it's like
Right, right.
cutting down Page, but cutting all the way down Euclid, bro. Like, even as far north now, that's what I'm saying, it did hit north. It hit Margaretta, it hit on Shreve, it hit over there, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And it was a F3 tornado. It's 100 something plus miles per hour. And so I was just giving people kind of context. It started in an area like WashU, Lucky. It was literally
Yeah,
this
yeah.
side of the street, WashU, it looks fine. The right side of the street, it looked like the Hulk came through and ripped the trees out of the ground and the houses, you know? So obviously the city not prepared for something like this.
Right, right,
There
right,
was
right.
controversy because the sirens did not go off.
Yeah, I was following the news with that situation.
Which was weird because the tornado hit on Friday.
Mhm.
Thursday, they were testing the sirens, so everybody heard sirens and knew
Mm,
that the sirens
mm.
existed, and then Friday, they did not go off.
Right, right, right,
Um,
right.
so that's just to kinda tell you, like, the level of devastation, and
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
really hears
No,
that
that's
people
a
say that.
lot. That's covered a lot of space for a tornado to be on
It
the
was a
ground.
it was a mile long while it was traveling, right?
The
Yeah,
tornado itself was a mile long?
while it was traveling, and it covered, like, 8 miles, kinda certain,
Yeah.
like. Yeah, bro, and 20 miles over because it went to Granite City. I just ain't gone to Granite City
What?
and seen that. Yeah, bro. So, I don't think people really from St. Louis that's not here, you see it, you might see your friends, like,
Yeah.
let me then go to the relief, so then people just immediately hit the ground, bro. Hit the ground running. And I got out there. I've been out there a few times, cleaning
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
volunteering, dropping off, just doing whatever I can. What we can do is
Right.
not enough. Trying to buy water, trying to buy anyway,
Right, 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 right.
trying to
Now I've
buy
definitely
shit for
seen
people.
all the efforts and all of that for
Yeah.
sure, but
I had
I didn't under you don't see all of that. I'm definitely gonna go watch the video because how
yeah.
you're saying it and then me putting that into context, knowing like the way
And I'm not
no,
even
it
doing it just
started from the haves and went through the have-nots as well.
and
Oh
it
man.
crushed that area. And so now you got people literally like imagine so the storm hit Friday.
Right.
Then people are like, I whip my stuff. I don't I'm not prepared to tarp my house or do
Right,
XYZ.
right, right.
Storms again Saturday.
Right. I do remember
Rained
seeing
again
that. Yeah,
Saturday because
yeah.
because Tanel didn't have power, so he ended up staying with me and Alexia. He stayed with us basically the whole week. Like he didn't have power. I was like,
Right, right,
I had a
right,
roommate
right,
again.
right.
Like it was that long though of a period from he was able to still go into his home. So those people who haven't,
Right,
you lose the food, you do all
right.
this other stuff. So people just literally on the block. I mean, we
Yeah,
was on the block.
yeah.
You can see it in the video. Then it's just a natural bridge, bro. And I don't need no water now, but take a water anyway, bro. Like
Right, right,
the
right,
community has to come
right.
together because it's like this place that we all travel, walk by. It's you don't
Home.
expect to see it ripped apart, even if it's just the trees. Even just seeing the
Right,
trees
right,
ripped
right,
apart.
right. No, I mean, I can just imagine because we do have some good greenery around the city. So the like the Lindell situation in my head, I'm like Forest Park right there, all them beautiful houses and everything. And I did
Bro,
see that it touched over there because I saw some clips of like the Forest Park Parkway, MetroLink area, and all of that. But after you just ran through the track of the way that it went, I'm like, oh no, that is crazy.
it
And it's
ripped.
a mile long itself as a tornado, F3, and went for 8 miles going all the way like that. That never really happened. You get a tornado warning and a real bad storm, and maybe something that'll happen outside the city. And usually tornadoes don't pick up in cities because it don't usually get enough wind to really get strong enough. At least that's what I've always been told. So to
Mhm.
like, yeah, no,
Ripped through
that's
the
different.
most one
That's
of the most
different. That's
populated
heavy.
areas. Ripped
Yeah,
through one of the
yeah,
most
that's
populated
heavy.
areas, and it was different. It's like it felt like it jumped.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
this street is messed up. Like it stopped at like Kings Highway and Lindell. It didn't go down Lindell that way.
Right, right,
It
right,
kept
right,
and it,
right.
like, went down Kings Highway and kept jumping through Kings Highway and went all the way. I mean, you drive down Kings Highway, like I said, like a bomb went off. And so it's like, for a lot of people knowing Fountain Park and knowing that Martin Luther King statue, for people to just see that, it's on the ground.
Right, right,
And
right,
that's
right.
the church where the church, one of the women passed away. We had lost five
Oh,
people in the
okay.
city. it collapsed on them right there. Like they was in the heart of the storm. And I'm just saying that like maybe they go to another room, maybe they hit another closet if they can hear these sirens, bro. Because the
Right,
storm
right,
came so
right,
quick,
right.
and you don't want to. It was all a human error, a mistake, but it's one of
Yeah.
those mistakes. Like that's kind of your job is to not make that mistake, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so
No.
now we are left to kind of pick up the pieces,
Yeah,
just like
and I
we
know
always talk
about the
about
federal funding. The governor who was very in support
hesitant.
of that man, now all of a sudden when you need some help, you're not even picking up the phone. And I know that's something that happened with hurricane relief as well in the past. Puerto Rico, yeah, it's a lot. So
It's a lot.
just knowing the economic impact of it all, from the damage and having to repair, to the people who've lost things already, yeah, the lives that have been lost, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real
Yeah,
interesting seeing how a lot of these things unfold. I will definitely talk about it on another occasion because I don't even want to necessarily. I want us to be able to fully deep dive on it, but a big thing I've been just kind of thinking about, just in relevancy to what the podcast is like really thinking about investing more marketing money and things like that into smaller markets. Like there's so much that's invested
mhm,
with these big brands in your New Yorks and LA and all of that. Obviously, like those things are important, but to be the backbone or help the economy of the culture of these smaller markets who will be loyal to you, I think is a thing as well. Like Budweiser, this is a time
mhm,
and opportunity for them to really step up and do something. Barnes Jewish,
bro.
like it's just so many multi-billion-dollar organizations that are there, and obviously they can't do it all. We do need true like government help and support right now, but like, yeah,
Gotta
they can
do
do something. And
something.
these are people that work for you. These are people that buy your products. And like the way that this capitalist system of America is set up, it definitely should be a lot of onus on our elected officials. But these corporations need to be more involved as well and not just extract from people. And one way or
That's a
another, the great
phew,
awakening is happening. Like this new news bits about people, more of the American public being in favor of like populism and also they're saying it in a particular way. But what the bread and butter of it is, a lot of regular everyday people, the 330 million plus American people who do not have a ton of money, are not liking the rich and they don't like corporations. They don't trust you or politicians. There will be a point where resistance happens if you don't play the game the right way. And that's just the inevitable truth
mhm.
about how humans and history works. So I don't know. I just think is the people with all the bread needs to be putting a little bit more good out there into society. For real.
Yeah, because you're always gonna have more of the
Yeah,
greatest
yeah, yeah, yeah.
monopoly.
And
So
people they gotta buy your
it's
shit, Walmart.
monopoly.
Like the Waltons, Big Mizzou family, Big Missouri family. Like throw that bread, bro.
Yeah,
Throw it.
man. And I can't say I honestly can't imagine how that would I I I thought about what would have been the difference in the response if that goes through
Oh,
Tower Grove,
absolutely.
if
Absolutely.
that grows through the Botanical Garden or the Shaw neighborhood. Wouldn't want that
Right,
devastation on
right, right.
anybody because, like I said, it ripped through the Central West End, which is one of our more prominent neighborhoods, and I feel for those people just as much as
Mm-hmm.
I feel for the
Mm-hmm.
people in the North, the Ville, and the West, and all that. You know what I mean? So it's not like a thing of like, I'm not coming like that, but I'm just like, it just made me think because, like you said, the federal funding is
Right,
not there
right,
for
right,
them
right,
either.
right, right.
The response from the city and the plan of action is not
Right,
there for
right,
them
right.
either. This just happens to impact some people that financially already were in maybe a particular
Mm-hmm.
group or had not even particular group, just had certain restraints
Mm-hmm.
already. But yeah, I don't think that there's a right or wrong way to there is a right way to do this, but it's right now I can't imagine what these people will be going through if just regular citizens hadn't
Right.
stepped up
Exactly. Exactly.
and just
Exactly.
jumped in there and just picking stuff up. I mean, even if you look at it, something small, but it's like I'm out in the streets just picking up boards of wood with
Right,
nails in
right,
them.
right.
Whoever riding by, dude probably riding by to go check on his grandmama. Now he get a tire because
Right,
it's some
right,
wood in the
right,
street.
right, right.
It's that
Right,
kind of a
right, right.
thing that
And
we look. You know what I'm saying? That compounds, and then now he behind. It's that kind of a thing that I'm just like, if we can help one another, you know, already. So yeah, man, that's where we are right now. Like I said, if Mars, I swear to God, it feels like it's been
I
a
can
month.
imagine. I can imagine.
It feels like it's been a month. So even when I'm sitting here thinking it's like it's only been 2 weeks, it feels like it's
Yeah,
been a
no, I
month,
mean it was
bro.
similar when the Mike Brown and Ferguson situation. That was a crazy time.
Bro,
Yeah.
we done
Yeah,
been through some
yeah,
shit.
man. Yeah. It's
We done been through some
a
shit,
beautiful
bro.
city with a lot of spirit, great market, loyal fans, beautiful people, rich culture, awesome food,
Yeah,
some of the best dancers, and fly as cool as motherfuckers in the country, man. And I mean, I like I say, that's why I mentioned the haves and have-nots because a lot of things do tend to be different. We can act like it's not the case,
yeah,
but I won't necessarily make it about the big R right now, but
man.
just
Folks,
being from a different perspective, a different neighborhood, literally can correlate with your outcome in life. And I think we need better
look,
investment for all of this shit.
if I run for mayor, you gotta promise you're gonna be
Oh,
on my
absolutely.
campaign.
Absolutely. Just tell me when you doing it. You already got me signed up.
I might run for
No,
mayor, man. I could do. I feel like I could do what Kara Spencer do it. I'm not even gonna fake
she
it.
just started too. I
I'm
mean,
not even
it's a
gonna
hell of
fake
a
it.
city to like come into. That's why, bro.
She tried to hold on real
Mhm.
quick before I forget. I want to say this, man. She tried to come up there and get this photo op at the YMCA. So Ohan for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
culture
yeah.
SCL and then Action St. Louis started a hub up there at O'Fallon. So that's why I kind of been doing a majority of my
Okay.
work with them. And yeah, Kara Spencer tried to come up there and get the little photo op, and they was like, "No, you can't take no picture with us."
As it should
And
be. As it should be,
bro,
man.
it's the drama even in this, man. So yeah, man, it's interesting, but yeah, I just kind of had to say that it's even in the politics, even in
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. No. I mean,
it's
hey,
tough.
this is the other part of cooperative economics for real, man. Each one teach one for real, for real.
Man, well, on a brighter note, the Knicks is still alive for me.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
You went by
Oh,
York.
yes,
Oh man, it's
yes,
crazy
Bing
because I still
bong,
believe
you
in
know.
them too. I still believe in.
Yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. I want to see Jalen Brunson
Oh,
and Big Cat go.
absolutely.
I've grown an appreciation for the Pacers now. I've always been a Pascal
It's
Siakam fan,
likewise.
and but yeah, I've grown a new appreciation for them. You know, but I'm a Knicks
Oh
fan,
wow.
so I'm just
How do you feel? Because two things. One, because now he got a moment too. How do you feel about him hitting the Reggie Miller choke or whatever? I do think he thought it was a game winner. The
it was
bounce was
clutch.
crazy, but the ball still went in, so that's wild as well. But he
It was
stepped on the
clutch.
line. That was nasty work. So that, but also the conversation because I think we're about knee deep in like the whole new face of the NBA thing. Like, do you think that Halliburton is a superstar? I think Tony Kornheiser on Partner in the Interruption, gave like tears of superstar, and the superstar was like the super elite
Uh-huh.
class. I respected his opinion on that. I feel him or whatnot, but like on
Um,
some just like contemporary stuff, like you think Hallie got it?
so I kind of agree with him. I look at I tier them as like maybe you're a fringe
Mm,
NBA player, you're a G
okay,
League player, you're a bench player, you're a starter.
right.
That's four, and then you got all star, perennial all star, and then
Okay, okay,
superstar.
okay, okay.
And then I guess we go from superstars to the
Yeah,
goats. We got
okay,
a few,
okay.
right? So we have to see if Halliburton is going to become a perennial all star. Perennial all star to me, Carmelo Anthony. I feel like D Wade had a superstar season,
But mostly a
but I
perennial
think
all-star
that
too.
he does not
Yeah,
perennial all star as good as
yeah.
the perennial all stars get. Like you shake it
Right.
either way. They could have got a championship. You shake it this way, they could have
Right,
lost a
right,
couple
right,
more. You know
right,
what I mean?
right,
Kind
right.
of that kind of thing. Versus like I put Tim Duncan in that superstar. I
Okay.
put obviously, Kobe Bryant in that superstar. And more recently, to me, Kawhi Leonard was a superstar. LeBron James was a
Okay.
superstar.
Okay.
Kevin Durant had a few years of superstardom. Steph Curry were the
Okay.
superstars. And those were the only four
Okay.
superstars to
Okay.
me.
So that's interesting how you grade it. I do not disagree with how you're labeling them. To me, I also think of a superstar in more of like a marketing and a celebrity sort of context as well. Cause I think you mostly talking hoops right now. And I definitely
I'm talking the actual hoops because the hoops, like that's what I mean. Because like people don't look like LaMelo Ball is a huge basketball star, and from a marketing standpoint, he's a
right.
superstar. He would be even bigger if he was an actual
Yes, yes,
superstar.
yes, yes. Okay.
Think about how much bigger he would be if he was an actual perennial all star,
Right.
and you could mark him in for the all star every year. You can't do
Right.
that. So it's just like without social media, that's kind of the NBA's
Mm.
problem. Without social media, nobody gives a fuck
Right,
about
right,
LaMelo
right.
Ball.
That's
Nobody cares because that would go back to the old model, where SGA is averaging 30
right.
points. He's a best player. Even you go Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, like it's another tier. It's a like Damian Lillard is a all
Yeah,
star,
yeah, yeah,
perennial
yeah,
all
yeah.
star, kind of in that. But it's a big difference when he
Right,
was. I'm in the playoffs.
right.
I'm on TV. You can write
Mm-hmm.
me in for certain stuff. There's a lot of guys that got that
Mm-hmm.
celebrity. Maybe they had a couple perennial
Mm-hmm.
season, like a Devin Booker. It was like, damn, he had a good couple seasons, but you can't write him in for that stuff. It's only a top 75. It's a top 75, and then it's everybody else to me. We're gonna see who's gonna be in the top 100. Because people would think Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, right? But it's these new cats writing their name
Right,
in.
right, right,
Joker.
right,
You
right.
gotta write him in. Do I have you gotta write these cats in. And so the face of the NBA thing, this is the best case scenario for the
Mm.
NBA. Tanking is
Yeah,
about to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. People
Tanking,
upset about the
tanking is
draft.
officially over. Tanking
Yeah.
is officially over. Teams now are having to pick real ballers to really
Mm-hmm.
build around, and everybody's got to go ahead and try to win the championship because you don't get as much not trying to win the
Right, right,
championship,
right,
really.
right. No, so that's interesting. It's kind of led me in my head while you were talking to think about something. Initially, I was gonna keep it on like hooping in sports, but I want to expand on it actually. We now at least a smooth decade into like real investment in social media as like a legit marketing channel, probably the heaviest of sort
Mhm.
for many brands and
Yeah.
industries or whatever. Do you think that companies branding marketing as a whole and a practice advertising yada yada, do you think that social media has actually done more good or more bad for these industries, what celebrity looks like, what marketing looks like, the way that the KPIs are different, budgets being slashed or converted and moved around to particular things. But also, like there's this democratization of different voices being heard. I think social media is where a lot of like niches and subcultures were able
Mhm.
to truly blossom and become these larger things. And once again, we in this capitalist society, so all of this shit go around money one way or another. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, what say you? It just popped in my head, but I'm interested in hearing what you got to say about that.
We are commodities in our industry because we understand a target audience really well, just baseline. Even outside of our own age, we understand a particular target audience that's not the
Yes.
general market really well. I'm saying that to say I understand why somebody we have to make demographics because I am okay. Really good example. Me and Alexia have become really big fans of the Beyond the
Yeah,
Gates,
I know. I
CBS's new
know.
show. But the show is produced by CBS Studios and P&G
PNG. I
Studios.
know this name. Could you refresh my memory? Who's PNG?
Procter and Gamble, P&G.
Oh,
Okay, so listen, right? This is an old school soap
yeah, yeah,
opera,
yeah, 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 yeah,
the
yeah.
soap opera, right?
Oh man, that's a little marketing history
So
for
in the
people, though.
commercial,
Yeah,
in,
people
in the
don't know that soap operas.
in
Yeah.
the show, right? So in the show, they'll be in the drama, and then I'll turn around, Febreze, or they do the B-roll cut to the house. I'm in the house, and it's the
Oh,
Tide
I
sitting right
love
there,
that. I
right?
love.
Get on Twitter. I get on Twitter. I get on Twitter. I'm
Yeah,
searching because I
yeah,
really be
yeah.
searching, looking for because something I caught on. I'm really interested in. And a couple girls like, hey, I bought that for Reese. Sent based off I seen off the
Yes.
show. And then somebody else in reply was like, yeah, I got this also. So I'm saying that to say that is not social media. CBS and PNG, from what I'm seeing, aren't even
Mhm.
connecting those dots and having like the Beyond the Gates like run by
Right, right,
PNG to
right, right, right. Really
kind of
clamp it
connect
down.
all
But the
those
product
dots.
placement is obviously there, so
They just
P&G is throwing that in heavy.
so they should have like the
Yeah, yeah,
PNG
yeah.
something, but that's super cultural. You would have to have hired the right person to do that, right? So saying that to say to answer your question, I think social media, just like any channel, depends on the
Mm.
target audience, right? If you're trying to catch me, AM radio probably
Right,
not
right,
the
right,
best
right.
idea. But if you're trying to catch maybe somebody like my dad or my
Yeah,
mom,
yeah,
it
yeah,
might
yeah, yeah.
be. She listens to talk radio. She listens to Karen Hunter, who is an older
Mhm.
radio host, in a similar way that I might listen to. And I don't even want to say Charlemagne because now he's so mainstream, but because I've been listening to
Right,
like
right,
Brilliant
right,
Idiots
right,
and
right,
Charlemagne for a
right.
long time, but I can't even think of a creator because now everybody's just so
Yeah, yeah,
big.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
a little bit
But you
different,
know,
but just
comparable to a podcast or something like that is what you. Yeah, 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 yeah,
somebody like that. I just might earn your leisure. Let's go with earn your leisure because
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
the biggest in the
But
world, but in the way she might get some information
yeah,
about Trump
yeah,
from Karen Hunter. Yeah, but Karen
yeah,
Hunter's on
yeah,
Sirius
yeah, yeah.
XM, so she has a huge platform. I might get from Earn Your Leisure, who has their own platform, but they're more similar in age, and they gonna reference it to
Mhm,
that, and so two different
mhm.
demographics. So I think that under why diversity and inclusion is important is because there are so many people who are
Yeah.
segmented in so many different ways. When we came, I could say not even we. When I came into the industry in
Mhm.
2013, it was like, yeah, who understands black people, who understands
Right,
Hispanics,
right,
because it wasn't
right.
Latin, who understands black people, who understands Hispanics, really wasn't even talking about women yet. You were kind
It's
of
not
getting people as
pre
like
me
who
too.
understands millennials. It's like the people now kind of like, well, we
Right,
should talk
right,
to
right, right. That's
millennials
Gen
in
Z's
a
moment right
way.
now.
And, and then now Twitter's just new, Facebook's just kind of new, like, but who could talk to millennials, who could talk to Hispanics,
Mhm.
who could talk to black people? And that's kind of what it was. And then it's evolved into so many more in a segment. So it's a long-winded way of saying that. Like, I think understanding target audience and their demographic is more important than the channel
Mm.
because the channel only dictate who you're
Right.
talking to. So I think a lot of people, marketing is always the
Mhm.
first thing to get cut. So, of course, if you can shorthand it, and now, well, like we like to talk about a lot, people's consumption
Mhm.
is so much different, and
Mhm.
it's on YouTube, and it's on streaming, it's not on TV in that similar way. That's why live sports is so important because it's appointment TV. You get a whole bunch of eyes at one time, and all these different things. So, I think you just got to know who you're talking
Mm.
to, and be comfortable with. I'm talking to them. I think in the back of so many people's minds, and this is kind of more philosophical, but like artists, marketers, brands, whoever, in the back of your mind, you want to get a million plays on this. But in real life, your target audience may
Right,
only be a
right, right,
hundred
right, right,
thousand.
right.
Be comfortable with having that
Right,
conversation with them
right.
because that's who you're talking
Right,
to.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I
yeah.
I like that. I agree. I agree. I'm aligned for industry talk with you. I think that's super important. I grapple with the good and the bad. I think you definitely said a lot of what I would say as well, but I do think I think it the understanding of how to communicate with these people. There should be more emphasis, not necessarily on a social media manager or one who knows how to who specializes in it. Like no disrespect to the social media homies out there. Like I'm not trying to take no food out your mouth. I think at least my homies are
Mhm.
specialists. You should be able to keep your job. But I think it's so much that's we focus so much of the numbers and data into like impressions and engagement. Like we've emphasized so much of that that the messaging just be off where they'll spend robustly on trying to like do this weird maximize your social media engagement thing
Mm,
where you could be using that money to talk to
mhm.
these channels in a more specified sort of way and go way further. Like, for instance, the last election, like it was stuff where both Democrats and Republicans they had to get in the weeds and like do work with the Spanish speaking demographic, and they
Couldn't do
don't
it.
know how to do it because they're not hiring the right people to give them the consultancy for it, but quite literally translate the information over. It was a project at work we worked on where we did a whole other website that was basically in Spanish because there's so many Spanish speaking citizens in the country, and that took months to get right. They actually had to get real Spanish people that were also able to engage with the language through the different national linguistic ways. It was a big project. I was super impressed when like they presented it to us and all of that. And the website is beautiful and it does well. But you need that sort of investment in actually being able to understand your more niche demographics because like yeah, the cool kids, the sneakerheads, the skaters, the fashionistas. Like, I really love that Devil Wears Prada clip where she talks about like the blue sweater and like laughing at it from the magazine, but it ends up on Nordstrom Rack or wherever for you to buy and just wear as like an everyday thing. The cycle really does work like that. I'm really big into like the chasm of adoption and like the innovators and creators, early adopters, early majority, late majority. Like that's a
Mhm,
real,
mhm,
real
mhm.
thing. I don't think everything should be siphoned through that, but definitely in the realm of what we work on and do inside and outside
Probably
of
should
work.
actually.
Absolutely. Like
They
we don't
probably
sell
should actually.
insurance. We work on things where we trying to be
Mm-mm.
aligned with young people and sell things to them in a particular type of way. And you have to talk to, there's a way that you speak with women. And I'm not, it ain't got to be super granular or anything like that, but you got to respect people and come at them the way that they expect you to come at them. Walk the walk, but also like talk the talk, but also walk the walk. And that's the thing. We'll spend more money on a social media engagement as opposed to just being more authentic. Like actually do it.
I think I think that okay, I really like where you took this conversation because like okay, you talk about the KPIs, the engagement, and what we're the biggest hurdle that brands are now seeing to using social media and using these user generated user generated
Hmm.
content sites is where's the
Right.
conversion. So I have a toothpaste brand and the agency or whoever is like, man, we need to make cool ass toothpaste content. But it's like, is that is what's going to get people to buy it? And so then you have
Oh
this,
my
what's the
god, this
word?
is I love the industry,
You
but this
have
shit be
this
so
like,
funny.
then you have like this like
Oh man.
almost a fear of being
Yeah.
too down to earth, where like the toothpaste brand really just needs somebody to prop open their phone, talk about it in XYZ, but the agency's used to selling it this way, getting it done this way, da, 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 and it's a long overhaul. And that's how you get so
Yeah.
many of these smaller brands able to
Kicking
pierce
ass.
into the
Smaller
market. And
agencies
so
are winning
these
most of the awards
general,
too and getting good business.
you know what I mean? And so why are you on social media? If you're this brand that's heavily thought about in the stores, what do you want people to talk about on social media? I'm not
Hmm.
saying that they shouldn't. Genuinely, what the hell does Coca-Cola have to talk about on
Right,
social
right,
media?
right, right. I,
And it was a but it was a the
mhm.
reason I say that curve is important. When social media was new, and it was early adopters and it was new and a hell of brands went on there and you were figuring it out and Facebook wasn't cheating the numbers yet and all this other stuff. And okay, it was cool to be on
Right,
there. We're
right,
showing
right, right,
Coca-Cola,
right.
representing our brand. We've made ourselves. But now on the back end of
Right,
social media, it's not, it's in its death
right,
cycle. It's spinning out of
right, right,
control.
right.
You better get into some direct
Yeah,
mailers
really.
or some fucking
I that's what I love about because
customer.
like young people are really into the physical media and like tangible things like that. I just watched a tidbit. One thing I will say real quick though, I know you just were using Coca-Cola as a name. I just want to say in defense of Coca-Cola, great
Yeah.
all-American brand. Like, but like the way that they
Oh
show up,
yeah.
the way that they
But I
show
still
up
would
should be
like to
different.
know.
Early on, like I wholeheartedly agree with you because early on, sure, get in here. They should be on Twitch. They should be like investing in young people and like damn near hella sprites in the back, like some cool merchant for them, like new frontier right now for Coca-Cola and really embarking on
Mhm.
new, yeah,
Be on
exactly
the
on the
new
new
social
stuff.
media site.
They got
Yeah.
their what 20
Mhm.
million Facebook followers. You could do your like polar bear post or whatever. Like that shit is whatever. But
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
they still invest way too much money in that instead of the new shit, the next shit. Like get ahead. Like that's the thing. Brands don't
Mhm.
invest in innovation for real.
Yeah, how does Sprite not have the shit with Casa now? And that is their
Well, I did just
brand.
find out they've
That is
moved
their
up to the third
brand.
most popular soda. I might have tweeted that article. But I was like, all right, Sprite, that's cool. They're
Really?
third most popular. I
Okay.
thought that was already number two personally because of what I'm used to them doing culturally. I'm just thinking bam bam. But yeah, the sales are actually driving up the third most popular. So cool. But yes, I agree with you. Like that's where it is. Casa, and that's where you test out your new drinks. I'm sure one of these homies in your crew be following like the weird food channels and they do all the like Korean like releases of
Bro.
bags of chips and shit. Like bring them the case of the, like the new other shit that y'all doing. Like it was this it was
Yeah.
Stratfest last year or whatever. It was a woman, I forget the agency, but she gave a great like keynote speech. They're a research agency to kind of like help brands when it comes to branding, building new products, rollouts, all that other stuff. And they did like a project where Doritos was going to start releasing all of these different sort of like freaky flavored chips or whatnot. They went on this like project or
Freaky flavor.
whatever, and like they like hung out with like strip club DJs in like Atlanta for like a chicken like a lemon pepper chicken flavor. Some Korean b boys out in LA, like
Mhm.
some like house party people in Miami to come up with all these different flavors or whatever. And they were doing numbers. Of course, these are more limited releases. If they boomed and like you run it back and open it up, you got a
Mhm.
whole new product that's booming in the market. But it was in New York or whatever for Stratfest last year, and she said she went to the bodegas to try to get some to like show on stage. When she got to her hotel, they were sold out in like the like 6 block radius or whatever around the hotel. So they were already doing numbers, but she really emphasized like the importance of authenticity and really dialing into niche, even smaller niches, the same way that people talk about micro influencers and how those are more effective than like the bigger influencers nowadays, because the engagement thing and authenticity is right there. Because people will get into it if they're going to get into it or not. But it's 350 million
Yeah.
people in America, bro. It's a lot of people buying bags of chips. And it's a food culture. There's
It's a
so much
lot of
other stuff,
people.
but we understand where people are and where they're going as opposed to kind of like waiting on the latest survey that they did over the last year and a half to report on this shit. So it's really 2 year old
Yeah.
information in order to like be at the forefront. Like you got to be at the pulse of culture if you're really serious about, especially locking in with those demographics of young people.
Can I okay, I got a question I think might be a good
Awesome.
one to end on to kinda because I kinda wanna build on kinda what you're saying. I'm sure you saw the, controversy that spilled online after the Angel Reese
I
Caitlyn
did.
Clark
I did.
incident, right? A lot of BS, a
Absolutely.
lot of nothing really. But I kinda wanna ask you, like, as the WNBA, you have a responsibility, like, the NBA gets a lot of criticism because it does a lot of work to fix its image or continuously work on its image and to
Yeah,
perpetuate
yeah,
a
yeah.
certain image with the players that they,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
however you want to put it. It's a lot of ways
From
that the
dress
NBA
codes
works on
to
its image
fines, they gonna hit you.
from everything. That's a yeah, right. I personally think that the WNBA needs to market Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark together. And if I was the commissioner, I'm forcing them post game to dap up.
I would
Like
much
I'm
rather see
forcing
that. I would
it.
much rather see.
And I'm only doing that because it creates narrative. And y'all gotta play ball. That's something that Magic and Bird and Jordan, they play ball.
But it
You
doesn't
know what I'm
seem like they
saying?
hate each
Like it's
other. They
a game
compete,
and a
but it
game.
don't seem like they hate each other.
No,
The narrative right
I
now
don't think that
with the
Caitlin Clark. I don't think Caitlin
right,
Clark
right,
and
right,
Angel Reese hate each other either. I
right.
think that that's a
But
terrible
the
narrative.
fan bases, and I think them doing that on camera is a great way to show that it ain't what y'all think it is. Like, let's get on something.
And
Yeah,
let's stop
yeah,
that
yeah.
narrative. And I just feel like as a league, like Jamel Hill, I saw her talking about it, man, a really great point of just like, man, people did not take it serious when Angel Reese was literally crying on
Right.
stage at LSU saying that she didn't want to do this anymore. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's real. Like she was
Right.
in tears. We could not imagine if the quarterback, a national
Hmm.
champion quarterback, was in
Right.
tears because of just the way that they felt like that and then to go on to the professional level and still be
Right. Right.
producing at a
Right.
super high
Right.
level.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
not like she's a scrub or anything. Like she's still
Right,
like
right, right.
being
Now she
Angel
be
Reese. You know what I'm
balling. I
saying?
think she's like
So
first player to
she be
500 points
balling.
and rebounds now. That's a hell of a feat. Like averaging a
Something like
double
that.
double. Like what?
Nigga
Damn,
Willis
she
Reed,
balling.
bro.
Yeah,
This nigga is
yeah,
Willis
yeah,
Reed
yeah.
down there. Moses Malone, rather. Moses Malone of the WNBA, which I'm all
Right,
for,
right,
and I
right,
love it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And both of
Yeah,
them, they're super good competitors. I can't wait to watch them compete in the Olympics against
yeah.
with together.
So,
You know, but I just wonder if from a marketing standpoint, like to me that I get that controversy does sell, and that controversy is always
mhm.
going to be there. But I think some of the ignorance is like them kind of just letting it play out. However, and I'm like, it's social media. Like we could create our own narrative. I'm not saying that they need to have a podcast or something, but I'm just like post game. I need y'all to just, hey, my good game, dap it up, and I think it just would be powerful.
No,
I don't know.
for
Maybe
sure.
I don't
No,
know. I'm
so this
sappy.
this me putting my strategist hat on. It's definitely it's informed by gut, but also backed up by things that I've seen in the last like 6 months to a year for real. It was about around last year because what is happening, it hasn't grown yet. It's definitely early adopter type shit. But the pendulum swing back to like happiness, positivity, a lot of like butterflies and rainbows is happening underneath the surface and growing. Like young people are actually like engaging with religion again for the first time. Now that was the thing, like the organized religion was
Yeah,
declining in America
that's
for
real.
like some years or whatever. Very cynical,
Mm-hmm.
somewhat atheist millennials were kind of like not going to church, and the institution as a whole, most institutions have been losing trust for decades now. But with young people, there is actually a spiritual revival, and I think some of it is probably subsequent from just kind of like the nature of the way that the world is right now. And most people do find religion. I'm not here to argue whether or not to believe in it, but a lot of people, I will say, I am a man of God and faith on the other side, but I'm not here to sway people on that. But as humans go, from a more psychological, scientific perspective, when you're looking for answers, you can't find them. People tend to go back that way. But also the missing third spaces, like churches were huge third spaces for blood drives, for parties, community service, all types of support, soup kitchens, food pantries, so many different things. And our society is in a particular place where I think people are looking for those sort of things. Then I think also when you think about Gen Z, and we don't have the information on Alpha yet, that would be mad creepy, but I imagine they might still swing in that direction for a minute just because of the economics of it all. But like dating and relationships, sex, sexual orientation, so many things. Like Gen Z is having less sex, but they're also way more from a mental perspective sexually open and accepting of things. We're seeing a real like spiritual revolution happen, and a lot of people that are focused on their wellness, holistic health, things like that. People are looking for ways to feel happy again, and I think that it would be wise for the WNBA to get ahead of the curve. I mean, we're talking about a female demographic who not even to be stereotypical. Like the girls love each other and they be really working on supporting themselves. Like there's not a, I mean, there's a guy's guy, but like that motherfucker's not looked at as like a positive person a lot of the time. I'll take a girl's girl over a guy's guy 9 times out of 10. The girls really got something. I think also just coming together as they're
That's
building
hella
their own enterprises, building their own, corporations and business like niches out, they already support each other. Like women support women owned businesses. You a celebrity, all the WNBA girlies getting the bag right now. I'm super happy to even see its growth. But there are men who support it too, but the girls got their each other's back right now. And I think it just would be smart. I'm here for some controversy down the line. Maybe like when they can get to like going against each other in like championships or something like that, it would make more sense. But
right,
these are my
right,
other
right.
thing is because we a little older, bro. These are kids. Like they are kids still.
These are
And to be dealing
kids.
with, I don't like it for
Yeah.
musicians or models or influencers or any of that. And I mean, it's just kind of is a byproduct of social media meshed with famous celebrity. We just had
Mhm.
tabloids and maybe a little gossip back in the day, but a 24-hour news cycle where your name could pop up at any
Yeah.
time and literally bring you depression and distress is a crazy world to live in. I peak social media has happened. Young people are intentionally
Yeah.
logging out. People are shifting back to experiences. The COVID isolation is on its last little bit of melting out. Motherfuckers don't even believe that we got an administration that don't even support vaccination and social distancing. We back outside. And also people are broke, man. Like this is actually these are the times in from an economic, socio-economic perspective where people tend to start trying to organize again and do things for the low or donation based or for the community and start to foster these new movements. Social media is not going anywhere because our politicians are bought and like nobody's going to get it rid of Zuckerberg and Facebook or anytime soon. There's still great platforms to get your message out there. So I don't even want to see them cease to exist. But yeah, like younger
Mhm.
people are shifting into different sort of things. And I think just like ideologies and where culture is headed, it's going to be focused a little bit more on positivity because what our leadership is doing is very much so against what young people want to see. So I think we're in for like
Mhm.
a true like multi-generational kind of like baby boomer, younger baby boomer slash like hippie movement pendulum swing going on. Cause like millennials are not going to ever be baby boomers. They won't. Maybe we'll age a little
Yeah.
bit into some of like what X has, but X gave us MTV and like invented a lot of what the internet is, but like we perfected all of that shit. So I really look at millennials, it's kind of like that hippie movement, and it's like the people that like were hippies that
Yeah.
had babies, like raised some really cool motherfuckers afterwards too. So
Right. So yeah, Gen Z might be like you said, those baby boomer crazy kind of jaded mugs, and maybe
possibly,
Gen Beta. Like I think if I have kids, they would be in
and a
Gen
lot of
Beta.
those they would be beta at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
So
that swing is kind of happening where it kind of skips over a little bit. I
yeah,
think
Gen
that's
Beta
what's
kids
going
will
on.
be cool. I know some
Yeah,
beta kids. I know
yeah,
some little
yeah,
ninjas.
yeah. No,
They
the
kind of
young
cool.
kids are super awesome, bro.
Bro, all the
And
babies love Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, they do, they do. With the music, the vibrations, bro. You know, we work in music too. Them vibrations, conversations people having to be real. I'm not super like in my hippy dippy tip about it, but like, no, man, like music theory proves that like certain vibrations and tonalities have an actual impact on our psyche and our mood.
100 Ethos.
Yeah,
It was
you
at the
know,
Road
so like,
podcast I was listening to. They were talking about how, above 90 BPM,
mhm.
a lot of trap music is slower than the heartbeat.
Yes, yes, yes. But
And it's
also
something
because of
to,
what they be doing.
it's something to that. I feel like in the energy that creates, like niggas
Mhm.
aren't doing drive-bys to 110 BPM.
Right, exactly.
And
No,
they're
that's when around we DJ, but for like the people, it's like, all of that like dance hall, reggae, Afro beats, some of the early phases of that K Tronada, that's that good 110, 115, 120,
Mhm.
100 kind of BPM. A lot of that West Coast swing, a lot of that is around that point. And I love me some trap music. I love me some country, I mean some crunk, all of
Every day.
that. But like for the music that really makes people feel good is
Yeah.
definitely outside of that spectrum, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I was flying back from my Puerto Rico trip or whatever a couple weeks ago, and I took a nap, but then I hopped up and I watched the Pharrell movie, the Lego joint,
Oh yeah. How'd you
or
like
whatever.
that?
And
That was your first time
I liked
seeing
it.
it?
That was my first time seeing it. I did not
Okay.
make it
Yeah.
to the movies to see it. I really, really liked it. I was happy Chad was in there a lot more than I expected him to be.
Hmm.
Even the calling for him at the end, I was like, cool. Y'all should really work that out for Pharrell and
Oh
Chad.
man, I hope they do, man.
But no, super inspiring, and Pharrell reminds me so much of us. Like, it's the reason we resonate with a Ye or a Q-Tip or Pharrell, or Kendrick. These
Hmm.
are real guys that I feel like have very similar kind of like upbringings and perspectives and experiences as us. Or when and I think it's a reason that these guys are some of the biggest people around. Tyler, et cetera, et cetera. But that level of luck and ambition and just kind of like going for it, but also like being comfortable with taking a chance by being different and really knowing who you are and standing on who you are. It was really good. Then of course looking through just like his output over the years, it's just like wow, like for real. The biopic is actually crazy, bro. Because like, yeah, we know, but seeing it in that like very linear way that you would see
It
it for
was
a
like,
biopic, like,
whew,
yeah, oh, you really am. You really am. And then after that, he becomes a Louis Vuitton guy and he cried on the happy thing. I love how it closed out with that with his comeback in the upswing again. But yeah, man, like that's a great movie for the kids to see, honestly.
mhm,
Like it's a
mhm.
great one to just inspire a young person, but I think it's a lot more of that energy that's gonna come through. We both Libras. My brand Do Right is all about the balance of and the like really dissecting some of the darker parts of society, but while also like uplifting the positives and really understanding that a lot of times people have to do things, unfortunately, or are
Mhm.
coerced and other things. I try to question those things more so than try to like uplift or support them. Um, but on the other side, you always got to do right, bro. You always got to
Mhm.
do right. Like
Every
you got
day.
to do right for yourself. You got to do right for your people. I don't advocate for nothing that is harmful to others of society by any means. And I think we just at a space now where there's so many people who are self-medicating and looking to heal and trying to find positivity. And I think there is no bigger time to try to like work on yourself and try to find hope than when things are stripped away from you, because you have to find a reason to live and to be optimistic and look forward to getting up the next day to make a better life for yourself. And I just think that that's on the way, if not already starting to actively begin to bubble.
Yeah. Well, shit. That's a great way to end this, man. That positivity. You know what I'm saying? Peace. What's it? Positive energy always. Uh, I'm trying to think of the
Oh,
next piece.
I ain't never heard that. I'll take it though.
Constantly,
Shit.
constantly elevating. What is it?
I
Uh,
know educating yourself and cultivating others.
you know what I'm saying every day. So I could leave
Yeah.
it. I could leave it right there. But yeah, make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment. Whoever's been watching, appreciate it. We should probably do that at the beginning, but whatever. We thugging.
Yeah, you got here with us. So clearly you like the conversation and thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah. So we'll holla at y'all. Peace.
Peace.